My name is Samuel Tucker. My script is called Neneh. It's based on a true story. It's someone that I met about 7 years ago who basically she's from Africa. She grew up in a very small community. She was forced into marriage at a very early age. When her husband died, who was many years older than her, the family members then were trying to force her into marrying the brother of her husband. She refused to do that. In their local customs then there is a procedure where they do female genital mutilation. She was taken away by the village elders to have that done, and managed to escape before it actually happened. However, she escaped, and she obviously had to run for her life because they will kill her for what it was that she had witnessed or knew about the secret society. She left behind 2 kids. She had a friend make sure that they took the kids away and they put the kids into hiding. She didn't know where she was going to go, and one thing led to another. She found some people that trafficked her through Africa. She ended up on a boat going across to Spain. The boat sunk. She was rescued. She was then trafficked through Europe, abused along the way, and was actually dumped in front of the Home Office in Croydon. Battered and bruised. When they found her there on the road outside, took her straight to the hospital. She didn't even know she was in England. And then she spent 5 years back and forth with the Home Office to try and get some kind of regulation of her status over here. The Home Office fought it tooth and nail. I actually sat in on the courtroom, one of the court hearings on this, and having known the story and saw her have to go through the story again, and then the way the Home Office treated her afterwards, saying it was all fabricated and everything. It was pretty horrific, and it made me decide I needed to write the script. At the very end of the script, she gets reunited with her children. I wrote this just over a year ago. The first child is due here in 2 weeks' time, so there will be a happy ending, but it's taken an awful long time. But during the whole process, her mental health took a massive hit. And I thought it was something that a story needed to be told. It's very relevant to what's on the news these days, but we only hear the same story all the time on the news, as opposed to real stories that do happen. And I thought it was very important for that story to be told. Having never done anything like this before, understanding the formatting, understanding how to write a script as opposed to writing a story. There was a lot of research and back and forth, and reading a few scripts to get an idea of how it should be done. I think also I didn't have a program, so I did it all on Word, and then ended up having to manually put each line in the right place. And that was probably it took me longer, I think, to do the editing and formatting than it did to write the story, because I knew the story well, so it came off my fingertips really quick. But it was getting it formatted that was a big challenge, and then knowing what I do with it afterwards, that's been a challenge. Yeah.
So do you involve Neneh in the writing process?
She's very aware of it. She has said that if it was ever made to a movie, she probably wouldn't want to watch it because of what she's been through. It is very painful for her. I talk to her on a near daily basis. But yeah, she's very aware. I couldn't have done it without her blessing, because it's very personal. It's very personal.
Where's she from?
Liberia. And I'd forgotten to say, actually, in her childhood, she, as a child, was when they had the Liberian Civil War. So her family fled to Guinea. Her and her mother fled to Guinea. She lost her family members along the way. When she came back, all their land had been taken over by somebody else, and that's who married her into the family. So it's been a whole lifetime of bad stuff.
So was your role in the Home Office then with the case as it came through?
Because I knew the person very well. They'd asked me to come along for some support and also as a witness on certain things as well, so I could corroborate certain stories as well. And it was pretty horrific how the Home Office behaved.
In terms of collaborate, sort of her being aware of the script, was there ever kind of times where you sort of have to go to her sort of for information and or you had everything kind of aware of?
I know the story. There was a couple of bits of some of the details of travelling through France, because a lot of that was a blur to her. She was basically drugged throughout that, so some bits I had to put bits together on there. But I know the story very well.
How did you find turning somebody's story that they've told you into a script where you have to have characters and dialogue and flesh out the actual scenes and events in a way that I imagine the story you hear from the person?
Yeah, in a very strange way, it was very enjoyable doing that, creating, because some characters obviously I didn't know about. I knew she'd met people along the way, so I then had to kind of create those characters. I didn't know the full details of those characters. So I enjoyed the creativity of that part of it. But it was, I enjoyed writing it, but I think it was, at the back of my mind, it's a story that needs to be told. And I felt like I was compelled to write it.
Was this story so compelling? Is this what got you into the idea of making the film? The reason I'm asking is, at any point did you think maybe it could be a documentary, or?
I didn't really think on the documentary side. I thought, because there's a whole story there, the story needed to be told as opposed to, documented on parts of it. I wanted the whole story to be told, because it's pretty horrific. And I know her social workers as well. They talk to me on a lot of times when things that she's comfortable talking to me about, but she found very hard talking to other people about. So I was kind of like a go-between as well.
Wow. And is that what brought you to script writing and filmmaking?
Yeah, I'd never done anything like this before. Yeah, so it was I felt it was something I needed to do, and I put my mind to it. And I'm happy to hear your comments today, that because it's been very hard to get people to read it, because obviously no one knows who I am. Yeah,
I'd like to read it.
No problem. I'll arrange for that.
Thank you very much.